Title: The Waking Reverie. It wasn't a dream, not exactly. It wasn't reality either. It was a place in between, a shifting, breathing labyrinth where the borders of sleep and wake blurred into something unspeakable. The Waking Reverie, that's what they called it. The ones who could still speak coherently. You didn't stumble into it on purpose. No, it pulled you, like gravity but softer, stranger. It didn't matter where you were, your bed, a hospital, the back seat of a car. Once you closed your eyes and drifted into unconsciousness, you were there. And so was everyone else, not just their dreams, but their nightmares. The dreamscape. The place itself was wrong. It didn't follow rules. It twisted, folded in on itself, obeying the logic of fear and hope, joy and terror, never staying still for long. One moment you'd be standing in a field of flowers that hummed lullabies, their petals breathing with the rhythm of your heartbeat. The next, the flowers were gone, replaced by a dark forest, where every tree whispered your name in voices that sounded too familiar. And the sky? Oh, the sky. It wasn't a sky at all, but a patchwork of dreams stitched together, fragments of a child's fantasy swirling with the horrors of an old soldier's war memories. Sometimes you'd see faces in the clouds, but they weren't watching you. They were watching themselves, trapped in their own loops of longing and regret. The inhabitants. The others were there, too. People from all over, strangers, lovers, enemies, and those you thought you'd forgotten. You'd see them walking, running, crying, laughing, screaming. But here's the thing. They weren't always themselves. Sometimes they were twisted, exaggerated versions, as if their dreams had spilled over and rewritten them. That shy girl from high school. She'd tower over you now, her smile stretched impossibly wide, speaking in riddles that hurt your ears. And your childhood best friend. He might not have eyes anymore, just empty sockets that leaked silver tears, asking over and over, "Why did you leave me?" The rules, if there were any. There were no maps, no guides, no way to tell where you were or where you were going. But patterns started to emerge if you paid attention. 1. Dreams were soft. They felt warm, fleeting, fragile, like walking on the edge of a memory you couldn't quite hold on to. Second nightmares were heavy. They dragged at your feet, made the air thick, turned your bones to lead. 3. And if you stayed too long in one place, the edges would blur, and you'd forget which was which. The most terrifying thing? Some people didn't want to leave. They'd sit in their dreams, replaying the happiest moments of their lives, over and over, until their faces became masks of bliss. Others were consumed by their nightmares, melting into the darkness like shadows swallowed by deeper shadows. The fused dreams. But the most surreal, the most fucked up part, were the fusions. It happened when too many dreams overlapped. You'd find yourself standing in a scene where nothing made sense. A playground floating in an ocean of stars, the swings twisting like serpents, the children laughing as their voices echoed into something metallic and alien. Or a city where the buildings weren't built. They grew, pulsing and breathing like living things, and every window you looked into showed someone else's memory. And sometimes, the fusions weren't just places, they were people. A child with a soldier's stare, carrying a toy gun that shot flames. A bride with the wings of a crow, her veil dripping blood. A man whose head was a television, flickering between a soap opera and a horror film. His voice a garbled static as he pleaded for help. You never knew if they were part of the dream or if they were real, like you. And maybe, in this place, it didn't matter. The boundaries. No one knew if there was an edge to the waking reverie, a way to escape. Some said there was a door, But it wasn't the kind of door you could find. It was the kind of door that found you, if it wanted to. But here's the catch. Leaving wasn't as simple as walking through it. You had to carry something back, a fragment of the dreamscape, a memory, a feeling, a truth. If you tried to leave empty-handed, you'd just wake up in the same place you started, caught in the loop forever. And if you didn't try to leave, well, eventually, you'd become part of the dream, a face in the clouds, a voice in the trees, a piece of the patchwork sky. The final question. The waking reverie wasn't just a place. It was a question it whispered to everyone who entered. What's more real, the dream or the dreamer? And as you wandered through its endless, surreal corridors, you'd find yourself asking the same thing. Was this madness? Or was it the only truth that ever mattered? Were you trying to wake up, or were you trying to stay asleep?